Yo, what are you doing right now? We are going to get real about men's issues, who Jesus is, and who we are as men in Christ. We're going to hear Trey, Jeremy, Michael, and Brad break it down. These guys call themselves the Cussin Christians. All right, guys, what is going on?
I got to check out my dad. I got Dad on Life 360 so I can track him anywhere.
Find my parents app.
Yeah. And he's kind
Chip
of
him. Put a chip in him.
my dad put a chip in my dad.
Seriously.
Hey, the vet will do it for like $50. So
Well, we had this long chat on Tuesday. We play golf every Tuesday and have breakfast, and he's just starting to forget things. So he'll be 84 this summer, and he's starting to forget things so much. And he, in his short-term memory, is really slacking. And we installed this app on the phone so I can anytime see where he is if he's driving. And he just sent me a text, okay, I'm heading north now. I'm going, Dad, I've got the app. You don't need to tell me that you're heading north. So now I'm watching my dad. He's working his way through. He went over the causeway. He's about to hit I-95. He's heading up to New Smyrna for a wedding.
all right.
But being a parent to your parent, we need to have a whole thing on that sometime.
There's actually a term for it. It's like the Oreo generation, where you're taking care of your parents, but then you also have kids in the house that are, so you're the Oreo.
You are the Oreo.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm an Oreo guy. Extra stuffing.
Wow.
Still an Oreo. You're an Oreo.
I don't have any kids at the house though.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. So
Jeremy, you did it for a little bit. You had your grandmother living with you before she passed. So you've been there.
My grandmother had COPD, and it was like stage 4. She used to be, and then she quit for years, and then all of a sudden, like when she moved back to Florida, she started smoking again, and she moved in with us, and she was smoking, and finally she had like an episode where we had to take her to the hospital, like almost didn't make it type thing. And so we came back and we're like, listen, you haven't smoked for 3 or 4 days. Like, it's done, right? Like, no more smoking, right? So we went into Publix, and she walks right up to to buy cigarettes. And I walked over, I was like, what are you doing? And she was like, and they're like literally holding the cigarettes, getting ready to hand them to her. I was like, no, she's not allowed to have those.
Good for you.
I was like, if you want to live in my house, you will not buy those cigarettes.
Yeah.
I was like, that's the rules. You know the rules. And I'm like,
nice.
And then I walk out, and like, of course, the people at Publix hear me say this, and I'm not being like nice about it. And I'm like, man, I just look like the total asshole right now.
Yeah.
But like, it needed to be done. She was having, her oxygen levels were so low that she was passing out. And also, by the way, you have oxygen on. You can't smoke with oxygen on your neck. Like, you'll blow my house up. Like. So my mom used to tell this story. She took me to the doctor's one time, and I was being bad, and she told me, if you don't behave, I'm going to throw you in the trash. Like, it was just a joke, right?
Right.
And the nurse was like, ma'am, that's not funny. And my mom, like,
in my house it is.
She goes, okay. And she goes, there are people out there that do that.
Oops.
Now, this is in the 80s, right? Like, so it's not
Now
today.
it's even worse.
Yeah,
You got Karens on every corner.
Oh, yeah. Dr. Toolin's office. That was his name.
Tooling.
Ooh. Not tooling around.
Not tooling.
I'm liking your new hair, bro.
Thanks, man.
I need to go.
I like the long look on you. I liked it on you.
I don't know. It wasn't working. The hairline didn't support it. The hair was thinning out, so I got it all chopped again. But those guys that they go on college campuses and they debate the students, and Matt Walsh has the "What is a Woman?" and Charlie Kirk, and Steven Crowder has the "Change My Mind." I want to set one of those up and do "What is a mullet?" and see what the kids say, because I experienced, the beginning of the mullet, like late 80s, early 90s, small town in Oklahoma, and I saw some dude with a buzz cut and then just a sheet of hair behind, like shoulder length, no blending, no transition. It was they always called it business in the front, party in the back. And I was like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. But over the years...
Back.
Well, but over the years, kids think that anything that's long hair, anything like my hair was kind of long all over, and it was almost shoulder length, they would call that a mullet. And I'm like, no. That's not what it was.
No, you're right.
If you saw what the original mullet was, like this redneck
it was
buzz
a flat
cut
top with long hair in the back.
Did you
Joe
see
Dirt.
the movie Joe Dirt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's
That's a mullet.
mullet.
That's a good mullet.
Yeah, but kids these days don't know what it is. They're like, oh, I got a mullet, and it's just shoulder length hair. And I'm like, no.
No, you don't.
No, it
And by
was-
the way, they weren't cool then. They're not cool now.
Right.
They're not.
So,
Right.
They were
But
never
they're
cool.
back. I've seen them.
Oh, really?
And then the Amish cuts. Have you seen those? Kids are wearing those. They look like Mo from Three Stooges.
Oh, just the bowl over the
Yeah,
top, and they cut
it
around
all the way
it?
around.
That's how my mom used to cut my hair when I was a kid.
No, I had the
Close to it.
I had a GI cut, bro.
You did?
It was child abuse.
I had those bangs that went right to my eyebrows. straight
Nice.
across. Lots of exciting stuff. Oh my
Beauty
gosh.
school haircut.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the Grease song, Beauty School Dropout.
Oh yeah.
No vacation, no
Beauty
no
school
graduation
dropout.
day for you.
Do you know that whole movie was portrayed? It was supposed to be. It was all a dream.
Grease.
They say it was a dream.
Makes sense.
But-
Actually,
But wait, I got to back up a little bit because Grease was a Broadway production before the movie.
No, I think it was after. Grease was before the Broadway.
This doesn't change anything for me. I've never seen it.
really?
You've never seen it?
You never seen
I heard the
Grease?
songs like in the 70s, and I'm like, this is the lamest stuff I've ever heard. And that'll probably get cut.
Wait,
Right.
but man,
But it was. I'm like,
hey,
this is
dude,
stupid.
I gotta say though, there's certain scenarios where that's just the perfect way to say it. Like it is what it is.
I mean,
like
I was listening to the Boss Band and the Police and Van Halen back then, and then they're just, I'm like, what is this shit? Like, I'm not listening to this.
Brad's on.
You want me to listen to this?
Yeah, but
No.
hey,
I watched Grease like a month ago.
hey, and,
I mean,
but tell me something. Okay, you're talking that. You just said that, but that key scene when Olivia Newton-John came out in that black outfit,
man.
I fell in love, man.
Yeah.
I was 13, I think, maybe 14, and I went back and saw that movie like 5 times at the theater.
I will say, I mean, that's probably the moment I realized that I did like women.
Yes, yeah.
Really? Mine was the Farrah Fawcett poster.
Oh, yeah.
I had that on my wall right next to my
Yep.
my membership certificate to the First Methodist Church of Midland, Texas.
We weren't allowed to have those kind of posters, so I'd go over to my friend's house.
And stare at
Yeah,
it.
there were always like 3 guys in the neighborhood that had that same poster, so I just go over there. Hey Scott, what are you doing today? I'm gonna come hang out.
Yeah, I'm coming over to your house, man. Hey, can we have a sleepover at your house?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. All right, all of us married.
Yep.
We've been talking about doing this
As of
for a little
today.
while. Date not over yet, but I'm still married, right? Arguments with our wives, marriages. How do you handle all that? Especially you've been married forever. You've been married semi forever. I'm
Yeah.
coming on 10 years. You're at
11 years.
11 years.
I was, it's 35 years, coming up on 36, and I always say it's been the best 30 years of my life. So we had 5 or 6 that were not great.
Right.
And, we always talk about, I'm playing checkers, but she's playing chess. Like, if we get in an argument and I'm thinking, if I say this, I'll get this reaction. She's already gone like 4 levels deeper. And she's like, well, this reveals, because you said this shows how you really feel about this. And I'm like, whoa, what just happened?
She just went over your
think,
head.
I think I'm de-escalating the situation by saying something that I think is going to be like innocuous. And then she's already gone 4 levels deeper and has skipped ahead. And she's like, oh, now I know this because you said that. I'm like, oh, crap.
Does she beat you in arguments?
Huh?
Does she beat you in arguments?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She's way smarter than me.
And that's the whole scripture, don't let the sun go down on your anger. I've done that because I'm stubborn sometimes. And I'm like,
But
I'm not talking to you. I don't give the sun can go down. I don't give a crap. I know it's scriptural, but
it is scriptural, but there's also something with discernment. Like, I'm not going to get into an argument and a major debate, and not just an argument, but like talk about anything of substance when I'm going to bed.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's nothing good comes
Exactly.
of it. And if so I'm gonna say I love you. We're gonna pick this up another time when we both have our senses about us a little more. It hasn't been a long day. The stresses of the day hasn't brought us down. Nothing good will happen if you and I continue this conversation right now.
Because usually I'm like sitting on the couch, letting the day like go by. The kids have gone to sleep. I may or may not have a cocktail, kind of like just total decompression mode, right? And I need a good hour on the couch before I go to sleep. It doesn't matter if I get home at 1 a.m. or
Exactly.
6 p.m. I need 1 hour on the couch. And she's been sitting there thinking about it since dinner, what she wants to have to say to me. You know what I mean? So me being like, Brad, I'm not that deep, so I haven't thought about it at all. You know what I mean?
Or
She's
you're
coming in with the
hoping it won't-
Rolodex of information.
You're hoping it just won't come up till later.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about
It's
it.
like, I know there's something there, but hopefully she won't bring
That's
it
why
up.
we
And
can
then-
sleep.
I know there's something there, and I dang sure don't want to ask what it is.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
why we can sleep at night.
Yeah.
They can't. They're up all night thinking about it. Not me. I'm sleeping. And that's the other thing. Don't let the sun go down in your anger. Wintertime would suck because that's 5 o'clock, man.
True.
And then summer, you got more time.
Yeah. Sometimes it's like dealing with a black bear versus a grizzly. You know, like a black bear, you're supposed to stand up, make yourself look bigger, and be loud. And a grizzly, you just roll over and play dead. I think most of the time I'm
Hope you
arguing
survive.
with a grizzly. I'm just like, just curl up and protect my head and neck.
That's a great analogy, man.
Oh my
It's
God.
real
Psychologist talking about that in a counseling setting. Jeez.
You know, I performed a wedding 2 months ago. And
Oh, the scripture you couldn't talk about?
well, when you're doing the weddings, you always want to go there to the roles of the husband and wife, right?
Yep.
And Ephesians, it's husband, wives, submit to your husbands, and a lot that submit word gets
Define that submit word.
that submit word is a big point in our worldly view. Submit means something different than what the biblical definition of submit is. The wives, the wife to be, and most of the time her mom going, ho, wait a minute, let's back up on that. And of course, when I'm going through it, and her fiance is sitting next to me, the dude, and he's like, yep, submit. And then I go, hold on, cowboy. She had 3 verses about submitting to you. And so we all know that submitting means to serve, to lift up, all these things that Jesus did for his church. And speaking of, she had 3 verses. Dude, you got 6. And it starts with love your wives as Christ loved the church.
Right.
Are you ready? Because what does that mean?
Yeah.
He died for the church.
And it's probably even deeper than that. The dying for the church, the sacrifice of the church is the ultimate, but just in the day-to-day life of washing feet, of going and serving the poor, and going and serving the sinners, and those are tough things to
Sure.
get your mind around. And you know what? Your wife, that's your responsibility. And it sure does make it tough when the spats of life come up to love your wife as Christ loved the church, or at least get distracted from that. Because 9 times out of 10, your arguments that you have with your, what's the biggest thing y'all fight about?
Most people fight about money.
Money?
Yeah, money. I mean, but more than that, it's like the kids usually. I mean, that's our biggest arguments typically. Or I do something stupid, I gotta come and I'm a big kid. I mean, honestly, like go out and do something stupid. And she's like, really? Come on, But she's like, you're like being an asshole,
Right.
and I gotta come in. I mean, that's the truth. I mean,
That's the greatest difference between a man and a woman, and that's the meaning of what an ass. Because it's true.
Man, it's Friday.
You're going to have fun with this one.
we're having a Friday.
And we're having a full video session after this, too.
So whether it's the submission side or the love your wife like Christ loved the church, it's sacrificial either way.
It's serving.
It's a two-way street.
Right.
Correct.
So it's not like, okay, wife, you just submit, and I'm going to sit on the couch and drink my beer or whatever. It
Sounds pretty good, but no.
right. So it's a two-way street. It's sacrificial on both directions.
Well, and when the marriage is going well, it is a two-way street. What I find is when either I'm upset with her, so I give up the one side of the street and I start doing my own thing, or she kind of does the same thing, and we're not going in the same direction anymore, right? Like that's when the problems start, right?
Yeah.
Do you date your wife?
Not enough.
You got to.
That's what was the next question. Was we're going there,
And that's with the kids, and I know you get it,
Yeah.
but especially their age, like, we went away last weekend for a flag football tournament. There's
With the kids.
With the kids. So like for her birthday, I intentionally took her, away, just the two of us, but like maybe once every 3 to 6 months we get out, just us.
Once a week.
I mean, you said it before. When you get into an argument with your wife, you have to set the bar. I need to sacrifice my right to be right.
Yes.
And that's
That's a
tough
good point.
with the competitiveness.
And Michelle's an athlete too. So you
So
get
both
that
of you,
you
yeah.
get that going. Oh man.
Well, that's what I got in my house. I mean, she's a highly competitive gymnast.
Oh, that's right.
Obviously, I mean, so like, I mean, and she works a lot harder than I do. So,
Well, and it's tough too when your wife is right more than you are. I find that a lot. I go into an argument thinking, well, I've got a really good case here. And I present my case, and then she's already 4 steps ahead of me.
She's Perry Mason, and
like,
just knocks it down.
Not only do I not see it, but then when I think about it, I'm like, dang, she's right.
Oh,
like,
and that hurts.
admit it, though?
Do you admit it?
Eventually. Maybe not.
It might be the next day.
After the sun goes down.
That's where I'm trying to get better at it, because I can't fake it. Like, I can't lie to myself. And if she points something out, and I'm like, that's not true. But it'll seep in later. Maybe an hour or two later, I'll go, oh, she's right. And then I'll come back. But I can't, in the moment, most of the time, I'm not like, well, you're right. I have to believe it too.
But they got memories, man.
well, that's what my wife gets me on. She'll pull something out of the Rolodex from like 2003, and I'm like,
At 9:52 in the morning on a Saturday while we were driving, it's like,
yeah. Again, back to the simple piece, and to your point, like she is right a lot. Like I can't even say she's not. But I think a lot of it is I just don't care. Like, so it's like,
I don't either.
That's a problem.
like, and no, I don't, and I mean that in the most loving way, right? It's like the stuff that matters to them doesn't matter to us. You know what I mean? The other thing that I end up doing at least is in a form to protect her. I like leave stuff out, so I just like handle stuff. You know what I mean?
Okay. Keep going, because I've got that too.
Because I'll just handle it, and like I'll just do it, and
you
whatever.
don't even think twice about it.
And then all of a sudden something will come up, and she's like, well, why didn't I know about that? You didn't keep me in the loop about that. Like, well, now I feel betrayed. I feel all these feelings, and I'm like,
Oh, dude.
I'm like, well, I just knew it just caused stress in your life. So I figured I'd just handle it, and I'd stress about it, but I don't need you stressing, because by the way, that doesn't help anything. Like,
Right.
it's just is a protector thing. It's not I'm not doing anything.
Exactly.
I'm not trying to hurt anything. And then especially if you make a bad decision, then that's a whole nother.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, well, why didn't you tell me you really messed up this time? And it's like, well, I mean,
it's just like ministry stuff or job stuff.
Yeah.
You make decisions on the fly. I mean, I'm getting hundreds of calls and texts a day and all that, and something happened right at the turn of the year, and I made a decision on something, and I just shut it down and kept going. Didn't even think about who it would affect. It affected her or anything like that. And then about 2 weeks ago, it just kind of came back in conversation. And why did you do that? And I'm like, I didn't even think about it.
yeah.
And that's just this absent-mindedness. And they want to be included and feel worth in us going to them and including them in things. But there's some instances where a guy, I compartmentalize so much stuff. I go,
Sure.
okay, that's done. Check, gone, push it away. I'm not even going to go to that vault ever again. It's just locked away and I'm done.
I mean, is it realistic to say think like a woman? Like, do we need to think, well, how would she feel about it? I don't know that we can. I mean, sometimes you can.
you want me to start crying?
But I guess we just have to be prepared, right? Because we're taking care of stuff. We're doing things the way we do them because we're different than women. And then when she comes in and says, oh, well, you need to do it differently, or I wish you would have told me, or whatever, I think we just need to be prepared to be like, okay, like, that's fine.
My baggage, let's go next
you're
time.
right, or whatever. And vice versa, because we are different. So there's always going to be that possibility of, oh, you did this a different way than I would have done it, and I wish you would have done this. And for us just to be able to, I guess, give each other grace and be able to say, okay, I didn't mean it that way, but you're right. I'll try to do it differently next time.
Exactly. And that's tough. And sometimes my pride will say, well, screw that. I don't have to do that. And then most of the time after praying, because when she's mad at me, it rips me up inside. I don't like it. I feel uncomfortable. I feel nothing's in balance. But sometimes it takes me 24 hours to go, all right, I've been thinking about what that went down, and I can see your point.
Yep.
Or, however that works out. But
Donna's she's an Italian Jew, bro.
she's half Italian, half Jew. She makes
the
great
double
spaghetti,
whammy.
but never enough.
My wife's half Italian, half German.
Oh,
So there's some intensity and some passion.
There's some
there, too.
intensity, passion there.
And what I'm hearing
My
out of
wife's
this
Indian
conversation is it doesn't matter what they are.
Every man that's listening to us right now around a bar or wherever you are, here's to you, brother.
That's right, because marriage is hard.
Marriage is tough. Let me ask you this. All right, you've been married
35.
35, you're 11, I'm 10, you're 14.
I don't have no idea.
You know,
Well, that'll help her keep
she,
having.
she doesn't know how to.
Michelle knows.
Do you? And this is a friend of ours that we all know, and I love how he phrases things, and he makes me think a lot. And he is a great proponent of the grace message. But he always, when he talks about his wife, he goes, "I always want her to think I'm pursuing her."
Yeah.
Whether it's a little love note in the morning or a little call during the day. "Hey, I was driving, this reminded me of you," or "Hey, I'm thinking about where I'm going to take you for dinner tonight." Do you still 30-something years, do you still pursue your wife?
Not as much as I should. I mean, in my mind, I do.
Yeah, I
and
agree.
again, it's where I think I'm doing a good job, but it may not meet what she needs from me.
Because, and I love the book, and I go to it all the time. Gary Chapman's The 5 Love Languages.
Yeah.
You've got to know, man, you got to know what your wife's love language is.
Yeah.
And when you feed that, and she knows yours,
Yeah.
there's a lot of balance there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I when you first start dating and, it's hot and heavy and you can't keep her out of your mind. You're sending her texts, you're sending her notes, flowers, all that. 10 years of that kind of starts, I don't pursue like that anymore.
Sure.
And it's like, man, they could make a pill that you could take, like when you first are falling in love with somebody, you just take that pill the rest of your life just to feel that way all the time and pursue. Sometimes life just happens in that pursuit.
I was to say the
wife.
busyness of life is part of my thing. I mean, it's not, and it's both of us, right? I mean, and you end up being ships passing in the dark sometimes. And
That's why you got to date her once a week.
Yeah.
I hear you, but I mean, you're not gone. And it's
Well, you're 3 days a week out on the road anyway. Yeah.
it's no excuses, but hell, it's true, right? I mean, it's like, I mean, we can say do it, but like the practice of it is harder than.
Sure.
I mean, I'm gone. I mean, this is my scenario, but Brad has his own. You have your own. You're out working. You're doing your thing, and then you get home, and then next thing you know, like the kids are there, the dog, whatever, and like next thing you know, it's 9 o'clock. She's been up since 4. So she's going to bed at 9:30, and like here I am. And it's just you miss each
on
other.
the couch, winding down.
Yeah, and it's not that's where I think a lot of our issues come in sometimes is just simply like we just don't talk, right? And it's like, it's not intentional on either side. It's just like you wake up and next thing you know, it's been like 2 weeks since you've had a real conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw a billboard once that said, make sure the things that you are striving for are worth dying for. And it's like with me, when I was first married, I was doing 3 things. I had 3 jobs. Mm-hmm. And it got to the point where it's like, why am I doing this? For one reason, it was survival, But I can't imagine in this day and age what couples are going through, especially financially, with housing and cars and expenses and, it is so tough. And I think Satan is really destroying the family because of that. And that's his number one goal, to rob, steal, and destroy. And as couples, we are the most powerful union in any army, because where 2 or more are gathered in my name, there I am in their midst. Mm-hmm. The power of 2. Mm-hmm. And when you've got that power of 2 with your wife and it's strong, nothing's going to come at you that you can't handle or can't push back.
Oh yeah, and I think it's important too to remember that, like, just like life, your marriage goes through seasons too, right? Like, it's not always pretty. I mean, you were saying best 30 out of 35 years of your life, right? I mean, it's true. So, like, I think sometimes today, Satan gets in there and he's like, "Hey, you guys aren't happy now. You should just leave. Just leave." And
look at this over here. Look at
and it's like, and that's when
Just
it's like
paying
even more
attention to it.
important to be like, I'm not, like, this is when we stick together. This is when it's not good right now, but there was a good time there, and it'll come back if we can just work through this whole thing, right?
Yeah. I think that's why it's why it's so important if you and your wife both have a relationship with the Lord and you have that grounding of the Word, because I tell you, that's what got us through when, early in our marriage, when we were going through a really rough time and we were separated for a bit. It was like because she had a fear of the Lord and a foundation in Him, and I did too, that we were able to come back together. And I mean, that saved our marriage. If we didn't have that, if it was based on feelings or whatever experiences we had early on, there's no way we would have made it.
Right.
Right.
So both of us, pursuing the Lord individually, but then coming together. I mean, like you said, Michael, that's the strongest thing there is.
Do we truly appreciate the Lord's words where to become one? Do we truly appreciate the power of that? And then you take it to Solomon's writing of
And how many wives did he have?
But you take it to his writing of the cord of three strands with with the father being the center point of the other two becoming one together. And do we really consider that? You said you both know that you're grounded. You went through a rough spot, and it was through that you were able to reconcile and come back together and probably be a little bit stronger as a result of it. And that's the whole thing of these. It's one thing to be in an argument, but you go through these seasons of, I just don't want to be around here right now. I'm going to go take a walk, or and that's where Satan starts playing with you. It ain't necessarily the argument; it's how you react in the argument, or as a result, in the day or so after. And it's not like Donna and I fight all the time. We don't.
Because you just say yes.
Because I do like you do, and I curl up like the grizzly bear and do that. No, shut up. But
the biggest mistakes I make is that because I am gone all the time, and she has spoiled me. That's part of my problem. Is that before I went from having a mom to having a wife or a girlfriend for a very long time that took care of everything for me, to then having career going off, whatever, but then she just handles everything at home. So like when I get home on the weekends, it's Disneyland, right?
Yeah. Disneyland dad.
And she calls me that all the time. She's like, you're a Disneyland dad. And she's saying it in the most caring way, but she's not lying either, because I'm just there for the weekend, and I'm there for more than the weekends. But my point is that I don't think about anything because I've not been forced to think about it. And now she's starting on her career as a real estate agent. We've got 2 kids that are now making her run them all over the place, right? And I'm not there. So then I get home, I'm not helping with any of the problems. I'm part of the problem now, and she's like, if you could just empty the dishwasher, it would help me out a ton. And I'm like, I just want to sit on the couch and decompress. I just worked all day. And she's like, well, what do you think? I didn't work all day?
Yeah.
I'm like, you're not wrong. And I feel like such an ass, but
I'll do anything in the house. I don't mind my head in a toilet, cleaning toilets, any of that. I don't mind. She won't let me do laundry anymore anyway. So I can't do laundry. But I hate dishes, bro. I hate it with a passion. I get this sense of
ick. Not
just ick, but dread.
Wow.
And there's a whole story behind that. But anyway, I'm not going to go into it. And there's times when I'll come home and she's run the dishwasher and the door's open and the drawers are out like, hint.
She's priming it. She's priming
Are you
dude.
going to empty the dishwasher?
Drawers are open.
Nice.
That should be a signal for you to unload the dishwasher.
But I'll do toilets all day long. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, there's certain things that, like you said, I don't mind doing, but then there's things I don't want to do, like dealing with the sprinklers or dealing with certain things outside, and she'll be reminding me of it, usually right before we go to sleep. She'll be like, oh yeah, the sprinkler's not hitting the tree. I'm like, okay, whatever, and I'll fall asleep. And 2 weeks later, she'll bring it up again. I'm like, and I don't want to deal with it. And that's where we get into a lot of conflict.
Donna wants it done.
So what roles
10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
How do you as husband and wife maneuver what roles, especially when 2 people are working? What roles is the wife and the husband supposed to do? I mean, it's
so we were very gender role specific at our house, for the longest time, and she wanted it that way. It wasn't that I made it that way, but then she reminded me the other day, she goes, you just outsourced all your stuff to the lawn guy. So I'm like, well,
You're not off the hook.
That's not fair.
He's mowing the lawn.
Yeah.
Cleaning my sprinkler heads. I don't do anything out there. I got a guy that puts the stuff down. I got a guy that edges.
You need a little backfill and responsibility in your life. Right? Fill it in.
That's perfect.
Because I made the joke of, well, you told me I just have the outside of the house. You got the inside. She goes, yeah, but you outsource the whole thing. I'm like, that's not wrong.
I'm using my head.
It's like,
working smarter.
That's why I'm successful in what I do.
Yeah. So, I think that stuff's out the window now. I don't do a good job of it. So if she hears this or anybody hears it, I'm figuring it out, but I should do more.
I mean, we definitely have a team mentality around our house.
Oh, you got to.
You have to.
And there are times like I get up early in the morning, and if the kitchen's a mess, and it's usually not, but if it is, because like sometimes we'll go to bed at 10 o'clock and the kitchen's clean. We'll come back down. I'll come back down 5-6 hours later, and there's dishes in the sink. Like the kids have been up. The kids have been cooking food in the middle of the night. But my thought is I don't want her to come down here and have to think about doing dishes right first thing. Like I want her to come down, peaceful kitchen, get her coffee.
What a guy.
Yeah, so I'll clean the kitchen. Like
You're way better than
I'll
me.
make sure it's spotless before she comes down. But then again, if there's a sprinkler that's hitting the road, I'll wait for weeks before I address it because I don't want to do it, especially not in the middle of the day. I'm always like, I'll do it after dinner, at dusk when it's
Yeah, when the
shady.
skeeters are all
when
out.
it's
Yeah,
nice.
that's smart. Get lit up.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. I'm going to give you my honest answer, and my honest answer is not near enough. So that's my answer. How often do you look her in the eye, hold her hands, and pray with her?
We don't pray together very often.
I pray with her when she goes to bed. I lay my hands on her. She doesn't know this, but I pray when she's.
Do you?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But I
mean,
need
and
to-
I'm not talking about like when you're fighting and you pray just to get past it. I mean, that's
Who does that?
Or you're
fighting.
going,
You're gonna.
well,
That
no,
ain't me.
well, not fighting, but going through a trauma or something that's going
gotcha.
on.
Yeah, yeah,
together.
okay.
Yeah, and maybe an argument's part of it where you say, you know what, I don't know what the answer is. You're probably
Let
right,
me
but let's
grab
pray.
your hands and pray.
Let's pray about it. Let's just pray that I'm right this time and not you. But how much do we pray with our wives, man?
We've been doing it a lot more lately, but for whatever, we had like a 15-year span where things were cruising along pretty smoothly, and I don't remember praying with her much then because things were pretty good. I always pray for her, like I pray for her every day. But yeah, just taking the time, because like you said, you get home and it's like off to the races, doing dinner, getting the kids to bed, all that. It's like you have a very small window of time where you could actually do that with your wife. So it's tough, but I think out of necessity, we've been doing it together more frequently.
2 or more gathered in my name, there I am in your midst.
Amen. I mean,
Power
Powerful
to-
for sure.
Yeah.
right. You actually pray over your wife every night.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
She's gonna hear that. I've never told her that. I just do it.
Oh, see,
cool.
yeah, that's a great thing,
She
dude.
goes to bed 10 hours before.
Well,
That's actually one reason. I mean, we don't do it very if at all, and that's part of it is that we're just on 2 different schedules. Like, I mean, she gets up at 4 or 5, I get up at 7. Sometimes 8. Like, let's be honest. Like, I mean, it just depends on what I got to do that day.
I know.
I got
You're not mowing.
You're not mowing.
No, I got it outsourced.
I just got to think that if I made more deliberate prayer time with my wife, not me by myself, but with her praying, that would probably ease smooth down the edges on so many things that
definitely.
pop up in our lives.
I totally agree.
And so I'm saying that now with some revelation of, okay, Trey,
If
do a little more.
My wife-
and pursue her through
Well, let
that
me
type
ask
of
you:
prayer.
if you're praying with your wife, though, am I going to be as truthful and honest in the prayer? Right? Like, you have to make sure that if you're going to do that, then you got to be ready to be honest with God, obviously. But like,
meaning what?
Yeah, go
it's like
deeper.
what I'm going with this is like, all right, well, you're going through this time, whatever that is, and like as the protector, you're not always saying everything, right? And so you're keeping that in the back of your mind. You're like, hey, I'm not saying this out loud, but when I pray to God, I talk about it. So it's like if I'm sitting there holding hands with my wife praying, are you ready to? And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying it's a good thing. You should do this, but like, is it going to force you now to be that open and honest? And kind of give up some of that. It's like, hey, God, I have this fear about what's going to happen next month. I just don't understand.
Oh,
your
and
plan.
will that trigger some more anxiety or whatever? But I got to think it's going to be like medication in a great way that he's actually coming to me with this now. And it's not like,
Pray that she'll calm down at the end of it.
yeah, and I pray that she'll be really.
When I open my
forward.
eyes, can she please not be standing there with a knife? It's like, again, the protector in me is, I don't want her to know that I'm worried about something.
I
let's say.
see what you're saying. You're not like you're hiding anything. You just want to, yeah.
I'm just sitting there thinking, like, back a year ago when I really, truly didn't know when my next paycheck was going to come, would I want to pray about that?
Right.
Openly with someone else,
yeah.
or with her,
Because I didn't tell you guys that stuff. You
No,
know what I mean?
you
I'm not
didn't.
telling anybody. Just,
But don't our wives want us to be more vulnerable? And do we have the ability to
Do they?
Oh, I think so. I really do. But do we have the ability to be vulnerable?
I think my truthful answer to that, I think everybody says they want that at some point. Maybe this is the man issue too. But when you actually give it, do they really want it? You know what I mean?
Right.
It probably depends on what it is. You know, like maybe you can be vulnerable about certain things that they'll feel like, oh, that's like he really opened up to me. But like you said, maybe do you want to be vulnerable about how you're fearing about whether or not your kids are going to be able to eat next week if you don't have
think
money?
about it. If I start crying once a week every month, I don't think she would appreciate that.
I don't know that my wife's ever seen me cry.
Really?
No, I'm dead serious.
Well, Donna,
Have you?
Donna's seen me cry a lot.
It's coming. Wait till
We
you get in your
know it's
50s. Yeah.
I like even when my parents passed away, like I didn't cry in front of anybody, and I don't even know that I cried when Dad did. I didn't cry when Dad died. I didn't cry one time. I've still not cried about it.
Wow.
Dude, we gotta get.
Thanks
you
for being
some
vulnerable.
We gotta get you some counseling, bro.
Yeah, like when Mom died, I cried for 5 minutes in the room alone, and then I stood up and said, "Okay, I gotta go handle this shit," and like walked out.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. Well, we've been wanting to talk about this a while. I think some of the lessons learned that we talked about today is, man, I can do a better job, number one, of praying with my wife. Number two, pursuing her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being intentional about that pursuit.
I think that's the big piece
And the
there.
inten-
the
we talked about
intentional piece of
at that meeting we were at last night. We talked about being intentional, and it wasn't just with our wives. It was just about being intentional on sharing our testimonies, being intentional, having an evangelical heart. Being a Christian, being intentional as a Christian is so important. And if our union with our wife is the most powerful bond that God gave, then man, I need to pay more attention to it, right? Mm-hmm. I want to show my kids, the godly example of loving your wife, because you want to set the example for your boys.
Yeah.
So, they want to look back on life going, man, my dad had my mom's back all the time, right? We want to set those type of examples. Praying, knowing the love languages. I've only read the definitions. I've never read the whole book, but I've only read the definitions of that. And knowing what makes her tick, and her knowing what makes you tick. And we'd love just to, if you guys are getting together this week, I know our guys in Ohio try to listen and kind of carry on the conversation. We'd love to hear your feedback on your life with your wife, how you argue. Do you fight fair? Do you fight with, if your argument's trying to get to a common end and grow from that dispute and grow stronger in Christ together, man, that's what it's all about. So we would love to hear those type of stories. I throw this one out just for fun at the end because I love this verse. I don't know, you're going to love it. 1 Corinthians 7, the husband should give to his wife her conjugal rights. Yeah. And likewise the wife to her husband. Did you know this, Michael? Yeah. Did you know this? The wife does not have authority over her own body, but the husband does. And likewise, the husband does not have authority over his own body, but the wife does.
Yeah, baby.
Come on.
Scriptural, yeah.
So that's scriptural stuff.
I'm going to post that on the wall.
She just has to use her authority a little more often.
All right.
All fun, tongue-in-cheek stuff, but man, the truth is just throughout the word, even the stuff like that. And we can hold on to it as the truth and be able to move forward through the grace of God to get through anything, including those little spats we had. Mm-hmm. We are 7 weeks out. We're going to be celebrating with Matthew West, our buddies at Hope 106.3, who we have their signs here, a great local radio station in Brevard County, Florida. Go on your dial and set your dial to the right of your radio dial and listen to Hope 106.3. Eric and the team have done a great job with their formatting. They're helping us bring Matthew West to town for the Grace Experience. We're going to be honoring a couple of amazing organizations. First off, the Cedar Rescue Mission. We're going to be raffling off a motorcycle as a fundraiser, which will be fun. For the AVET Project and the Impact Warriors Veteran Project, we're going to be raffling off right now. The first thing we have, we're going to be raffling off a gun from our boys right here in Brevard County, the Keltec Gun Company.
Oh, nice.
So we're going to be raffling that off for a fundraiser for them, and I'm working on I'm going to work on the second piece of that, and I'm working on it now. There's going to be something else really, really cool we're going to raffle off. I will tell you, it's going to involve military equipment. Ooh. So just get ready. And then, so that organization and the other organization that we are going to be supporting are our friends at Amigos en Cristo.
Love those
That's
guys.
our mission that we work with directly in Juarez, Mexico. And they feed 150 to 190 kids a day. Work with those kids, give them the Lord. And it's just an amazing organization that we just fell in love with when we were there last October. So Matthew West, May 31st. Tickets are at kingcenter.com. Go get you some and come celebrate. With that said, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys next week again, where we might have a guest that everybody loves. So we will take care of that then. Until then, I am Trey.
Michael.
I'm Brad.
I'm Jeremy.
We are the
Cussin Christians.
AVET Project, baby. Right
Dude,
there.
I got a shirt. I won't share it now. Something that happened to me at my periodontist. I got a